Skull crawler, deep beneath Skull Island's fractured surface. Skull crawlers move through collapsed tunnel systems and underground caverns like they were never meant to exist above ground at all. Their long, pale, skeletal-looking bodies are perfectly built for squeezing through narrow rock gaps, hollow earth chambers, and buried passageways where larger titans cannot follow. Everything about them feels adapted to darkness and aggression. Long reach, explosive movement, and jaws built entirely around grabbing and holding prey once contact is made. What makes them truly terrifying is how suddenly they appear. The ground shifts for only a moment before stone and dirt explode upward, and the skull crawler is already attacking at full speed. They do not hesitate, circle, or test prey first. They commit instantly and maintain relentless pressure once they engage. In close range, they become extremely dangerous because their entire fighting style revolves around chaos and confinement, forcing targets into panic while constantly closing distance. On Skull Island, they turn the underground into a second ecosystem, where the terrain itself can suddenly become hostile without warning. Even large creatures avoid certain tunnel regions because once a skull crawler controls the space around you, escape becomes harder with every second that passes. Kamazots. High above Skull Island's storm systems, Kamazots dominates the sky like a living shadow hidden inside thunderclouds. Massive wings allow it to ride violent air currents effortlessly, while echolocation gives it precise awareness, even through darkness, dense fog, and heavy rain. It doesn't simply survive inside storms. It uses them as camouflage, turning unstable weather into the perfect hunting environment. Its attacks are based entirely around vertical control and unpredictability. One moment the sky is empty, and the next it drops from cloud cover at extreme speed before vanishing back into darkness, almost immediately after impact. Because it constantly changes altitude and direction, tracking it during an encounter becomes nearly impossible, especially during storms where visibility is already limited. In Skull Island's ecosystem, Kamazots makes the atmosphere itself feel dangerous, because threats are no longer limited to the ground or jungle. Every open area becomes risky once the storm clouds move in, since danger can appear from above faster than most creatures can react. Kraken. Far beyond Skull Island's coastline lies the abyssal zone, where the Kraken exists less like a normal creature and more like a deep ocean force. Before it is even visible, the environment begins to change around it. Currents twist unnaturally, pressure shifts through the water, and visibility collapses into dark distortion, where direction becomes difficult to understand. It feels less like something entering the area and more like the ocean itself becoming unstable. When it fully emerges, it doesn't engage like surface predators do. It overwhelms everything nearby through environmental dominance, dragging ships, debris, and living creatures into deeper water where pressure, darkness, and disorientation become impossible to survive. The terrifying part is that the ocean itself becomes the weapon rather than the creature needing direct attacks constantly. In Skull Island's ecosystem logic, the Kraken represents the final uncontrollable layer of the island's territory, the deep ocean zone where survival stops depending on strength and instead depends entirely on whether the environment allows escape at all. Scare buffalo. Across Skull Island's valleys, plains, and forest openings, scare buffalo move in massive herds that resemble living walls of armor more than normal animals. Their thick hides, enormous weight, and muscular frames allow them to survive both the harsh terrain and the island's constant predator pressure. When calm, they appear almost peaceful, slowly crossing the landscape like moving pieces of the environment itself. But once fear spreads through the herd, the entire atmosphere changes immediately. Hundreds of massive bodies begin moving together in synchronized momentum, turning the ground into a vibrating pressure wave that destroys vegetation and destabilizes terrain beneath them. A scare buffalo stampede is not just dangerous because of speed. It's dangerous because of unstoppable mass. Anything caught in their path is overwhelmed almost instantly, as the herd reshapes the environment through pure force alone. Even Skull Island's apex predators avoid interfering with the moving herd. Mother longlegs. Deep within Skull Island's dense jungle, Mother longlegs moves through the forest so naturally that it often feels less like a creature and more like part of the environment itself. Its enormous spider-like body is supported by long, thin limbs that allow it to step over roots, climb through tangled vegetation, and move between trees with almost no sound. The thick jungle canopy works perfectly in its favor, breaking up its outline and making something gigantic seem almost invisible among the shadows and vines. Even when it is nearby, many creatures would never realize it until it chooses to reveal itself. Unlike predators that rely on speed or brute force, Mother longlegs specializes in patience and positioning. On Skull Island, few creatures use the jungle as effectively, making it one of the island's most dangerous ambush hunters despite rarely being seen before it attacks. The forest feels different when Mother Longlegs is present, as if the jungle itself is watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Death Jackal. Among Skull Island's most relentless predators are the death jackals, fast-moving pack hunters that rely on coordination rather than size. Individually, they are dangerous, but their true threat appears when multiple members begin working together. They move through forests, valleys, and rocky terrain with remarkable speed, constantly adjusting positions to keep pressure on whatever they are targeting. Once a pack locks onto a target, the pressure rarely stops, making them one of Skull Island's most efficient and feared land predators. Skull Island is full of monsters, but one rules over the island: King Kong. A massive, intelligent, titan-like ape, King Kong stands as the undisputed apex of Skull Island. Unlike the other creatures that survive through pure instinct and aggression, Kong uses strength, awareness, and strategy to control his territory. Kong rules Skull Island by balance and force. He protects the island from the most destructive threats, especially creatures that would destabilize the ecosystem, like skull crawlers. At the same time, he keeps order simply by existing at the top of the food chain. On Skull Island, survival belongs to the strongest, and Kong is the strongest of them all.